I think people will look and say, but wait a minute, they're Americans who are unemployed. Why can't you just hire them?
They don't want to come out here and work in this extreme conditions, 100+ degree temperatures, dust, hard work.
What if you paid them more?
It doesn't matter, and they won't come out.
Trump kept saying during this campaign that the illegals were here stealing the blacks' jobs. He just kept harping on the black jobs, and everybody was like, what the hell is a black job? Well, this is just my perspective, or it's just my thought. I'm thinking that the Virginians and all the rest of the people who were dependent on illegal immigrants for their labor, they kept hearing Trump saying that the black people jobs were being taken. I'm thinking in their minds, they were hearing Trump saying the black people are going to come back to those jobs. In my mind, I'm thinking they were hearing Trump says the black people are going to replace all those immigrants out in the fields and on the farms and all of that. I'm thinking that's what they were hearing. That's why they weren't messed up about voting to get rid of their illegal immigrants. They were thinking that the black people were going to step up and take those jobs back because Trump kept saying these illegal immigrants are stealing the blacks' jobs. And therefore, in their mind, they heard we were getting our 1,800 slaves back. They had to have thought that their backup plan, Trump was going to miraculously, somehow, magically put all the black people back out in those fields, on those farms, and they were going to continue to get their work done. Now, that's just my thinking, because you cannot tell me that you as a business owner would get rid of your workforce and not have a backup plan. You are not going to knowingly and willingly walk into a bankruptcy, walk into losing your business, walk into losing your farms that have been in your family for 300 years unless you thought there was a backup plan. And the backup plan was supposed to be the blacks. That's why y'all ran out there and voted against your best interest, because when you heard Donald Trump said they were stealing the blacks' jobs, y'all in your twisted mind thought that the blacks were going to magically appear back in those positions. The blacks were just going to be coming from everywhere to take on those positions. You had to have thought that, because y'all not going to tell me that in your minds you were okay with.
This to me is like you voted for him and now you're seeing the true colors. Now you want people to feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you, man.
Hey, what's up beautiful people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm called Rezo Ita. If you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel, and to all my returning subscribers, I don't take your love for granted. I love you and you are in the right place. Guys, let me tell you something. You know, we always say like you always beat what you cannot fathom. Like what were the white farmers thinking when they voted in Trump? What were they thinking? What was going through their mind? Right now they're crying. They want black people to go and support them in their farms because profits have gone down. Agriculture, no, the government, the new Trump administration is not helping the farmers or agricultural sector with the subsidies, and with the mass deportation, agriculture was indeed affected, because most people who were deported were the ones working in the farms. Guys, they were the ones working in the farms. Right now, no one is working in the farms. Their farms are being taken away. And since even the South Africaners, when the South Africaners refugees were taken to America, the farms we have some of the people who had bought the land, the South Africans who had bought land, and it's speculated that those people are the ones who are going to be given land, you know. So these people have to impress themselves, impress the situation, impress their circumstances, impress their they voted for it, that's what they wanted it, and it has come to, they have to face the music, guys. They're facing the music and they're crying. They want black people to go and support them, and black people, the unification that the black people have come up with cannot allow them to be taken for granted. No one has ever stood for black people, so it's very, very unfortunate if these people expect the white farmers expect black people to be going there in the farm and helping them. You know, it's time. If you never came through me, I'm not gonna come through you. When it comes to racists towards black people, they have never gotten
Consequences of my actions chasing me right now. I don't want no consequence. I don't want no consequences chasing me right.
Have y'all seen that lady from Nebraska? Don't worry, I'm going to put it down here. She was one of the ones who came out and said, we voted for this and we regret it. She's one of the ones that's actually remorseful, not one of the ones that's coming on here going, yes, I asked for this, but please don't tell me how it's my fault that my consequences are affecting me and not just the people I hate now. I don't want to hear it. Okay. Now that we don't care about them, but this one, they're cattle farmers, and I guess Nebraska is on track to go bankrupt in like 2 quarters. Okay. And the most interesting part of the piece that she put up, and I'm not saying this to throw shade, I'm saying it to emphasize what's up. Okay. She says, we knew that they were going to be coming for the undocumented, and here almost everyone's a farmer of some kind, and 70% of our workforce is immigrant labor. And while we knew they were going to be coming for the undocumented, and we knew 70% of our workforce was going to fall into that category, we still supported this. And now thinking about it, I'm gonna say it one more time, and now thinking about it, they realize it didn't make sense to support something that went against their own interests and to put their support in something that is now feeding their own demise. And I appreciate her for coming on here and giving these updates and just saying, with each time, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, in retrospect, I can't believe I did that. In looking back, this made no sense. I did it anyway, knowing it didn't make sense. I appreciate her for that. Because we've got too many that are just incapable of doing that. Just incapable of saying, wow, yeah, I convinced myself to go against my own interests. Why did I do that? Like, that is work. That's self-work. Okay. And that's what we have room for. We have room for people that are like, wow, I now want to look into why I convinced myself to do something that was not going to help me. Why did I do that? We need more of that. And less people going, yeah, well, I'm just going to hold on to my hate and rage and anger, and I'm going to blame everyone else. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to fight to keep my job. I'm getting a lawyer. Okay, I'm fighting this. I don't care if I asked for it. This isn't fair to me. It's not supposed to affect me. What about me and me and me? We don't care about them. Like I said, they can go fend for themselves. They can go fund themselves. But yeah, it's very interesting. So these states that are already on track to go bankrupt just with the policies themselves, okay? Because she's like, people aren't showing up to work. I mean, whole thing, okay? And then blue states, these cesspool states that are providing all the federal taxes, people who live in states like Oklahoma who can't afford a plane ticket out here for the weekend love to talk about how this place is a cesspool, but they need our money to survive and to support themselves. Yeah, I am all for all of these blue states holding on to their money. I'm not interested in paying this regime. I'm interested in California independence or joining Canada or almost any other country but this one. And I would love to see how states like Nebraska plan on funding themselves when we aren't the ones putting into the pot anymore. We're going to keep our dirty little blue cesspool dollars to ourselves. How about that? How about that? Like, go ahead, give it a watch. Give it a watch. I give her props. And keep it rolling, because that's an area, that's a state where the administration is trying to tell you that we're traveling out there to their town halls. Okay, she's in one of the states where they're trying to tell you that it's us that are upset at the town halls. We're traveling out to cow country.
Racism is expensive, and corporations and billionaires don't care about you. This is probably breaking news to many who support and applaud mass deportations. Well, the people in Nebraska, the state of Nebraska, is starting to find out how expensive both of those things are, how expensive racism is, and how much corporations and the billionaires don't care about the working class, minorities, poor people, black people, and other non-billionaires. Well, here we go. So I hear Nebraska is on the brink of bankruptcy, although it seems that they have found a little band-aid to put on their self-inflicted gashing wound by choosing and supporting mass deportations, which hurts their farms because it takes away the migrant workers who, instead of waiting for ICE agents to go and round them up and jam-pack them into some of those private prisons like Core Civic, and continue to enrich the billionaires while they lose while the farmers lose their workers. The migrants decided to self-deport to places where they can be and be okay, and not be in communities of people who applaud and support mass deportations. So I guess those migrants were taking people's jobs. Where are those people? Come and take the jobs. They're there. The jobs are available. Why are these states, why is Nebraska potentially going bankrupt? Why are so much of America's farming country going belly up? Yeah, racism is expensive. And like they say, F around, find out. But I hope this is a lesson to everybody that is in support of and applaud mass deportations and mass incarceration. People who, in a haste to get rid of the people they do not like or to hurt people they don't like, end up hurting themselves. You know, with racism and xenophobia and all of these other things that were part of this past election. By the way, I'm not, although MAGA is super excited about these mass deportations, the corporate Democrats weren't too far away from them either. They were busy chasing MAGA to the right, especially on the issue of immigration. So I'm not gonna act like I didn't see it, or that it didn't happen, or that the Democratic Party wasn't campaigning on potentially doing harm to migrants and immigrants either. And at the end of the day, you know, there was also another choice other than the corporate Democrats or MAGA, and there was the Green Party. Most people probably did not pay attention to it, but if you look at their platform, it actually is in favor of the working class, is in favor of minorities, is in favor of the majority of America, to where you could see their platform is not in service of the billionaires, unlike the two major parties, the duopoly. So all that to say, though, when you make choices and you make choices that hurt people, and at the same time you depend on those people, you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. And at this time, let me just ask Nebraska and everybody, because I know, I recognize everybody in America is going to be affected by farming issues. However, everybody that supports all of this bigotry, all of the mass deportations, mass incarceration, racism, racist policies, and all of that, and who are being affected now, let me just ask you to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps.
You know what it takes to run your farms. You know how many people it takes to run your farms. There is no way you got rid of all of those people and did not expect to have somebody to come in and pick up the slack. Y'all thought y'all were getting slaves back. You had to have thought that. You had to have thought black people were going to be the ones replacing the immigrants and you would not miss a beat. But when those immigrants fled and those fields became empty and those farms became deserted, then y'all want to run around crying, does anybody care about Nebraska? Does anybody care about Nebraska? No. Let's go back. What was your thought process as to when the immigrants go, when they deport them? What was your thought process on who was going to come in and pick up that slack? Because 60% of y'all went out there and voted for Trump. So what was that 60% thinking? What was your plan B for when the immigrants are gone? Who was going to come in, step in, and pick up that workload and get your bottom and keep your bottom line moving? What was that thought process? Who were the replacements for the illegal immigrants that you guys went and voted against? Who were the replacements? You guys thought it was going to be black people. Y'all thought Donald Trump was going to magically make black people appear in y'all farms and on y'all fields to get their work done. Why? I have no idea. Other than he kept saying that they were taking the black jobs. Y'all thought that just because he said that, black people were going to be running down there to them fields? It's absolutely bizarre. You can't convince me y'all put everything, your whole life, y'all whole livelihood, generations of farms being in y'all family. You can't tell me you put that up at risk and did not have a backup plan. You can't tell me y'all purposely destroyed y'all lives and y'all farms without having a backup plan to replace the illegals. It's just not making sense. But racism never has made sense. Guys, these are some really eye-opening times we're dealing with. And another thing I want to touch on before I leave today. President Musk is really working hard to get up under the black people's skin. He's trying to find a button to push to make us hit them streets. Now he wants the government to stop funding, to stop the lease for the Obama Library. And he also wants the United States government to sell our National Black Museum, one of our National Black Museums. I think it was the Montgomery Boys bus. Something to do with that. I think that's what it was. So do you see what they're doing? When the threat to pardon Derek Chauvin did nothing. Now they're going for other intricacies that they know black people hold near and dear, which is telling us they are going to keep nitpicking and keep nitpicking until they can think they can get us out there. No matter what they do, do not give them what they're looking for. I don't care what they do at this point, but it needs to be seen the extremes they're going to go to. That needs to be seen.
Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you have watched all the clips. Thank you to the owners of these clips. I just have a question. Whom did Nebraska think they will replace the immigrants? Yeah, history repeats itself, guys. You have never supported me, but when it comes, like, when they want people to be deported, the first people comes to their mind are black people, black folks, guys. Nebraska went and voted for the administration that it's eating their head right now. They're the ones who voted for this administration. This same administration has deported a lot of immigrants. The people who were working in the farms, you know, they were deported, and they never said nothing. They knew all the policies that Trump was going to amend. They knew all his ill-fated intentions. They all knew his intention, but they all knew that the intention were going to work against the black folks. And oh, alas, it has hit them hard. They're not receiving no subsidies. They have lost a lot of profits when it came to their agricultural status, and they do not have people to work on their farms. These farmers around Nebraska, they are going bankrupt, guys. They're going bankrupt because even the government that they voted in is not supporting them. You understand? It's very, very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate to know that you're living with people in the same country and they don't wish well for you. When all this was happening and they knew that all the black folks were gonna be returned back to their countries, then it hit them so hard that the people who were working on their farms, the people who came from Mexico, the Latinos, the people who had no papers, who had no documents, were the ones that were gonna be deported back to their country. Something that really, really happened. They were deported back to their country, and these are the people who were working on their farms. So it's very unfortunate for people to think that black folks you can just step on a black man or a black woman, they won't utter nothing. So when these people came together and say, like, okay, these people are used to us. In Swahili we say these people wametuzoea, like they know our tricks, they know everything, they know we cannot say nothing, so they're gonna just toss us around. When they're working and they're paying them peanuts. Actions has consequences, and they're paying them peanuts. They're not giving them the money they are supposed to be giving them. They were using them at that time, but this time black Americans or black folks have said no. We are gonna be standing firm. We are, as the people of America, we are not going to allow intimidations, and so we're not going to work on your farms, whether you like it or not. We are not coming to your farms. We are not working on your farms. Black folks are very firm on it, no matter what, no matter how, no matter what language you're gonna use, how persuasive it's gonna be, they're not coming back to your farms. They're not working because you used them then, not now. They've said, like, you're not going to use them right now again, ever again, guys. I'm called Erin So Ita. I hope you have enjoyed these videos, and let me know what you think, and let me know where you're watching from. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Put on the notification button so that you get notified wherever I post a video. Bye.